Margie, can you hear us?
I can hear you.
Oh, I think you have to turn the mic on for her to hear.
And even, okay.
I'm not hearing anything
Can you
else.
hear me now, Margie?
I can, Sharon.
Okay,
Thank you.
good. I'm sorry. I'm calling the meeting to order, and I just questioned if there were any questions, comments, clarifications on the minutes of November 19th, 2024. And if there are none, I'll entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
Motion to approve.
Is there a second?
Second?
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, thank you. The minutes are approved. The next agenda item is courtesy of the floor. We don't.
Hello, everyone. My name is Lamont McClure. I reside in Bethlehem Township, an office next door for the time being, next few months. I am here to celebrate that once again, Northampton County put on a legal, fair, and accurate election. Isn't to say that it's perfect, because elections are human endeavors and humans are imperfect, but I am very pleased to once again give the highest praise to all of the people who put the election on, from our elections division staff on down to, from our registrar on down to our volunteers who opened envelopes for us. We couldn't be prouder of the effort that they put forward. And we know we had a legal, fair, and accurate election because nobody filed any lawsuits. I mean, always a lot of, there's a lot of heat around here, around election time, but no one ever files a lawsuit. And that's really the way to challenge an impropriety in an election, and no one's done that because we have, as you know, Chris, legal, fair, and accurate elections here. But I'm here because there was a problem during the election, and it occurred at our universities, where we just had long lines that we could not manage. So my suggestion to the Elections Commission, although, as you know, our administration believes it is not a legal requirement, our suggestion is that the Elections Commission take up a resolution to consider having an on-demand voting office on the south side of Bethlehem, starting in this general election in 2025. We think that that will give the folks in that part of the county who experienced those long lines an opportunity to vote early. And there's some misconception on the part of some students who believe that they can't vote by mail or on demand. They certainly can if they're registered in Northampton County. All they have to do is have their social security number, for example, when they show up to ask for their ballot on demand, and they can vote here in Northampton County. So if we have a voting center, as many counties do in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania, have additional voting centers, if we have one on the south side of Bethlehem, I think that will go a long way toward ameliorating the concerns of the students who had to wait in those long lines, which became unacceptable, and they're unacceptable to me. So that by the time the next presidential election rolls around, we'll have this well in hand, and we won't have a repeat of that incident again. So I hope you'll take that up at some point this year and pass that resolution. We won't have time to do it for the spring. I mean, right now we're having trouble, I think Chris can tell you, finding a south side location because the banana factory is now not an option for us any longer. And to this juncture, Lehigh University has not yet made any part of its campus available to us to be a voting place, and we hope they'll do that because that's the good neighbor thing to do. All right, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. We also have Jack Ciavolella.
Yeah, Ciavolella. It's the long-winded one. My name's Jack Ciavolella. I'm a resident of Bethlehem, and I'm also a Lehigh University student.
Thank you.
I'd like to reiterate, as County Executive McClure said, that I am very thankful for all the work that the election commission, the election workers have done. It's often a thankless job, and you guys do a lot of work under a lot of scrutiny, and I'm very thankful for what you guys do. And I'd also like to reiterate that Mr. McClure's commitment to ensuring that ballots are, that ballots are counted fairly, accurately, and efficiently. I'm glad that this committee is willing to listen and willing to entertain some of the new solutions to help prevent what happened at Banana Factory. Thirdly, I'm also very thankful for Mr. McClure's statement about how having a new location, since Banana Factory is now closed, having a new location for Bethlehem's Third Ward with Lehigh will be an excellent way to not only engage the student population in Northampton politics and in local politics, something that you see very low numbers of turnout regardless, but allowing students to get involved in their government, learning more. It's an excellent idea, and I fully am on board with it. So with that said, I'd encourage this commission or committee to look upon putting a polling location on Lehigh's campus. I personally am going to work with the county and with the school and with the various organs that are necessary for approval to help see that to its end. I'm offering my services to you guys as I am to the county and to everybody else. I'd also ask this committee to discuss having a early voting or ballot drop-off location in Southside Bethlehem or in Bethlehem as general. Not only would this help us, it would help the community as a whole, because as during the election season, the only place for early voting was in Easton, which for many Bethlehem residents, not just us, but people who work in Bethlehem, who reside in Bethlehem, who have busy lives, can't drive all the way to Easton to go cast a ballot early if they're not able to. So having another polling location in Bethlehem would be extraordinarily helpful for the entire city. And I'd also, I know, and I understand this may be a little bit of a long shot here, if there is a possibility of getting just a few more machines to help address the issue, though I recognize that the county had 320 machines, 310 of which were deployed, and I believe 9 of the 10 were to Southside Bethlehem. I could be wrong with that number. I understand that there was a little bit of a crunch in Southside Bethlehem. Perhaps just a half dozen more machines might help address that problem. Just something to think about for you guys there. I really appreciate all the work that you guys do, and I'm very, very happy and willing to work with you guys with whatever you need. Thank you.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you. All right, at this time, I'd like to have the solicitor's report, please.
Sure. As County Executive McClure indicated during his courtesy to the floor comments, there was no litigation filed as a result of there was litigation immediately after last November's election, but it was all resolved by the parties. It was all withdrawn and resolved. It was related to the recount issue, but nothing related to the actual way Northampton County conducted its elections reached that point of being litigated once the election was certified. The only other issue going on that was hanging in the background was there was long-running litigation filed by the NAACP related to the date requirement on mail-in ballots. That had gone to the Third Circuit, and then it was requested that the U.S. Supreme Court review the decision of the Third Circuit. The U.S. Supreme Court declined to take that case on review. So at this point, on the federal side, there's no more pending or open litigation, and the date requirement remains constitutional and remains in force. So unless and until there was something different, we will continue to require that a date be on the mail-in ballot envelopes. So that's all I have.
All right, thank you, Mike. The next thing, the registrar's report. Chris?
Hi, afternoon, everybody. First off, before I give my report, I just want to clear up and add it to the record to clear up a misnomer, what we call early voting. In Northampton County in Pennsylvania, there is no such thing as early voting. Early voting would be where you would have a polling place set up and people can go there and vote. We have on-demand balloting, which is basically the opportunity to fill out a mail-in ballot in the office and hand it in right then and there. Okay, just to clear up the fact that there's no such thing as early voting. Okay, Our 90-day report was sent in on February 3rd for the election grant. We will be audited most likely after the report for the primary by DCED. February 3rd, we mailed out approximately 69,000 annual permanent letters. What those letters are is that anybody who signed up to receive a mail-in ballot for 2025, we send them a letter that has an application attached to it. They're able to fill out that application and send that back to us, and we'll process it for your ballots for 2025. The deadline to apply for a mail-in ballot is May 13th at 5 p.m. All of our annual finance reports have been uploaded to our website. Those were due January 31st, so anything that came in January 31st, of course, was considered late for the office, but all the annual reports have been uploaded that have been received. Today, February 18th, is the first day for prospective candidates that to begin circulating their petitions. We've been handing out information since last week. We had our documents available on the website. In our office, people can come in, but today is the first day that they can actually start gathering signatures for their petitions. That will continue through the last day to circulate, which is March 11th. And we've posted all the available candidate positions. There's a document on our website that has all the open positions in the county as well. As we did in 2024, we'll be adding 25 to the year on the mail-in ballot envelope, as per the Department of State. Our drop boxes, as far as we know right now, will remain in the same locations as last year. Dates and times will be announced when we know when the official ballots are mailed. Polling place updates, we have 2 new locations and 3 possible changes as of right now, maybe 2 changes. Allen Township North and South, they had renovated the firehouse. We moved to Good Shepherd Church for last year. The firehouse has been renovated, and they have moved their municipal offices to the firehouse in the back. So we're going to the same location. It's a different address, and it's around the back of the building now, but that will be, we're going back there starting in the primary. Of course, the banana factory is being torn down. We're in the process of trying to find a new location for that. We have a couple feelers out to the Rooney Building, which I believe in the past was a polling location there. And we're trying to find other locations if that one, in fact, does not work out. And we've also been in contact, as Executive McClure mentioned, with the university to see if they have any space available, of course. Some changes that are tentative right now, we're exploring options in Portland. The firehouse has asked us to find another location. We're trying to find a location in Portland. The municipal building is what we use in the past. They have a ramp that is not, it's in disrepair. So they have to repair that ramp before we can use the municipal building again. So we have to find another location until we can go back there. And then more Klecknersville, the firehouse has also asked us to depart. They've given us a couple options, but we're also exploring possibly the church across the street as well. Some key dates. Right now, approximate start for LNA will be April 21st. We'll officially announce that as it gets closer. May 20th is Election Day. The official canvass will probably begin on May 23rd. May 29th and May 30th will be if there's any possible challenges to provisional ballots, as in we did this past election. And then June 3rd will be the next Election Commission meeting. Okay, thank you.
I have a question.
Chris, I have a question.
Oh, go ahead, Margie.
Chris, can we be notified when you're providing the judges training again this year?
Yes, absolutely.
And can we have full copies of the judges' manuals, please?
Sure. I think we can accommodate that.
Because of the problems that we had last year with questioning about what directions were given to voters by judges, I just want to be able to support that these judges have actually been trained to, for instance, make sure that voters are signing the ballots twice if that's required by law, that they've been trained to do that, and there's adequate, they've been given adequate materials, even if they weren't paying attention during the training that's in their manual. I think the other thing that we may need to consider putting in the manual is people left, and was unable to find that in the manual. If you recall, some people were allowed to leave and then return, and that seemed to cause a problem as well, which we'll probably not have that same occurrence this year because people won't be waiting in line that long, given that it's not a presidential election. We can only hope that many people are waiting in line to vote for local elections, but, I'm doubtful. But regardless, I'd like to have a full copy of the trainings, of the judge's manual, and then I'd also like to be invited to the training, please.
Sure.
Okay, great.
All right, I have a question. What would be the process, Chris, for having a place on the south side of Bethlehem that would also have like the on-demand, walk-in?
We would have to explore that. There would probably be a couple steps involved. You'd have to have at least some place that was secure. We'd have to have planned to probably involve the sheriff's department, of course, because they're available during our on-demand period. Staffing would be an issue, and we'd have to find a location for it. So it's probably not something that's going to happen immediately, but I mean, if that's the route that the commission is going to go, we'd have to have some planning involved in it.
And with regard to, you mentioned the Rooney Building or whatever, how's parking there?
I think parking in Bethlehem is
On the
touch and go
south
as it
side?
is,
It's
so,
going to be a challenge.
yeah, it's a challenge.
All right, yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, the Rooney Building there, the majority of, that is their voting district. So they were going down to the banana factory, and I have done a couple voter outreaches at that location. And one of the biggest concerns is that they would like to bring it back because it's in their building, so they wouldn't have to go far. But we're having, conversations back and forth to get that approved. But as of right now, we can't get any contact, so we're trying.
A question about, I was here for on-demand voting, and there's quite a lot of staffing that goes on, so that would also be a budget item, I would imagine. So the sequence would be, we might propose, we want an on-demand building, and I guess, comes up with, this is how much it would cost, and then that would go through county council. Is that correct?
I don't know. I'd have to discuss with the administration what their plan would be. Yeah.
It's probably a multi-step process.
Yes, I believe the request would have to come, start somewhere.
Yeah.
And I guess that's on your plate, in your purview to do that. And then we would have to go from there.
We have a meeting, obviously, with all of the.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
That's something we could work on between now and June, just as individuals or, the commissioners as well.
Yeah, I would think so. Sure.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? No? Is there any new business? All right, well, I will then entertain a motion to adjourn this meeting, record time.
Motion to adjourn.
Seconded.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Aye.
Margie, get ready for the snow out there. Be safe.
Oh,